Hello and welcome to Backstage Buzz at the MAC, where you get the inside story on some of the incredible shows and events hosted at the MAC. I'm Diana Martinez, and I am so excited to welcome another round of great guests to the show. We'll be speaking with a longtime supporter of the MAC and patron Debbie Borge, who will give us the insider's perspective on her experiences as an audience member. And later, Connie Canaday Howard returns to the show to share a little bit about College Theater's upcoming production of The Diary of Anne Frank. But first, we have Gib Egge, who is the coordinator of Experiential Education and Training at the College of DuPage. Gib has led students and community members on fabulous trips around the world, from the Appalachian Mountains to the Rockies and everywhere in between. Welcome, Gib.
Good to have you. Thank you.
Well, I have to say, just in the conversation we were having before, you were telling me about some of these trips you take our students on.
Yes.
And some of them last for weeks.
Anywhere from a weekend to a couple weeks.
Weekend to a couple weeks,
yeah,
okay.
Depending on the destination.
And you do backpacking and trail walking, and tell us what you were just telling me about how you, it's not like you're stopping at a hotel.
No.
Right? So what do the students have to bring with them?
Well, a lot of it depends on the destination we're going. We do a lot of trips that are backcountry experiences where we camp. So the students are bringing along pretty much whatever they can carry, the essential items, clothing, shelter, enough calories to get them through the day, water. So you're condensing all of your creature comforts of home into a smaller package. So really the essentials.
And you were telling me that it's a pound per day, pound and a half per day, or
2 pounds per person per day for food. We bring a little bit more if you're looking for high altitudes or more extreme activities. Maybe a little bit less if it's.
So
really
is there
hot
room
out.
For cookies?
Yes. Oh yeah.
There is room for sweets and
Definitely.
snacks.
Yeah, a lot of calories in cookies for the weight. So that's a great thing to bring. Yeah. It's not the type of thing you go on to lose weight. We're always constantly eating while we're on these experiences.
However, you got to balance how much you can carry versus how much you want to eat.
Exactly. Yeah, do you want your pack to be heavy and bring a whole bunch of food and luxury items, or do you want the experience to be a little more easier? But in that case, you might not get a clean t-shirt every day.
That's right,
yeah.
So the reason we asked you to join us is we are doing this new National Geographic Live adventure series where speakers who and photographers and photojournalists are going to come to the MAC and talk about their experiences. And we have a Grand Canyon adventure talk coming.
It'll be a good one.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah.
And you've done the Grand Canyon.
I have. I've done the canyon many times, many parts of the canyon, and most of the time with College of DuPage students, bringing them, giving them a backpacking experience.
So what makes this show unique about the Grand Canyon adventure show that we're going to see from National Geographic Live, if students can do it?
Well, students can do it. The Grand Canyon and national parks in particular are very good at making something accessible to everybody. Whether it's looking at the Grand Canyon from the rim or having a river trip of multiple days down the canyon. There's something for everybody. What these guys did was something that very few have ever done. I believe they say maybe 30 people have traversed the whole entire Grand Canyon, the length of the canyon. When I bring students there, we traverse it from one rim to the bottom and up the other rim.
Okay.
But these guys went down the whole entire thing. And you're looking at anywhere from 500 to 700 miles, and most of it is not on trails. What you're doing, well, I shouldn't say that. They're usually animal trails. Animals are smart. They know how to get up and down this canyon in the least difficult ways. So these guys are literally following trails that animals take, looking for signs, whether it be droppings or footprints of animals, to get their way through the canyon.
Really? So the animals help them to decide, the animal footprints? Yeah,
there are some trails, and it's usually most of the trails are concentrated in one area of the national park, but again, these guys did the whole entire length. Many places where few people have ever traveled through. And it's a fight to find water every day. You're constantly fighting hazards, be it the weather, being cactus, venomous snakes. So it's quite a journey that these guys did take.
Beyond snakes and scorpions and things like that, what other kind of wild animals might you find down there?
Well, there's bighorn sheep. That's fairly common. Mountain lions you see from time to time. We've seen bobcats down in the canyon. But there are those rattlesnakes that everybody's thinking about. Another interesting animal, if you're lucky enough to see, is the California condor, which is an incredibly rare bird, almost extinct, but they're slowly coming back. And one of the areas they release the condors is not too far from the national park. So occasionally you'll just be having lunch or whatever, and you'll hear what sounds like a giant glider flying overhead, where it's actually one of these condors, which just have a massive wingspan.
Wow.
So that's
now,
pretty amazing.
Is this something, so it's a pretty unique trek that these two gentlemen did, and then they were photographing the whole way, which is...
Right, and we talk about bringing stuff, you know, and these essential items, and these guys, in addition to the things that keep themselves alive and comfortable, have cameras with them. And one of them's a really, you know, one's a journalist, one of them is a really well-known photographer. So these are people that have, you know, good equipment to make incredible images, so they're bringing this stuff with them. The good light, like most places in the canyon, is early in the morning or at night. So these guys are up in climate weather photographing this amazing experience they're undertaking.
Is it something you would want to do?
Asked me a while ago and I might have said yeah. My priorities have shifted a little bit more, you know, with family life, but I remember being a kid, you know, finally 18 years old and getting that, I don't have to ask my parents for permission anymore. So we'd jump in the car, and one of the first places I went was the Grand Canyon.
Was it?
You know, you read about it and it's just, wow. And it still gives me that reaction every time I go there and bring students. It's just, it's an amazing place. If you get a chance, go see it.
How long do you think it would have taken them to do that trek?
You know, a friend of mine did do it. It took her 2 months nonstop.
Holy
to
cow.
do the thing. Yeah.
So she carried 2 months worth of supplies?
She had 2 months worth of equipment. The food was dropped for her along the way.
Okay.
So if you're going for 2 months,
you
2
yeah,
pounds,
you can't do it.
Yeah, so there are places, you know, I'm sure she had some friends. She was a national park ranger, so she has access, I'm sure, to excellent Grand Canyon staff to bring this stuff down here, and okay, here's where your supply is going to be this day. So you're trying to get to your next supply with enough food so you can fill up and go to the next spot. And I believe that's the same thing that these gentlemen did with the Grand Canyon hike.
So let's talk about what you do. So you do all kinds of adventures for College of DuPage students. How many trips do you take a year?
I do about 10 to 12 now.
So rattle off some of the places you're going this year.
This year we just got back from Panama, so we do a lot of international programs. I'll be in Ireland and Norway later on this year. Next week we'll be in California doing some national parks and state parks between the San Francisco and Los Angeles area. Got China's in the works for next year. We've got a couple other international programs early in the year next year as well.
So can anyone go on these trips?
They can, yeah. You have to be 18 years old, so that's the only requirement we have. If we do go abroad, you need a passport. And just, you know, most of our classes are for beginners. However, we do have some things that are a little more rigorous. If I did have let's say the Grand Canyon, a rim-to-rim experience where you're descending 5,000 feet and, you know, climbing 6,000 feet, it's something that we want to make sure our students are, know what they're getting into, to say. But most everything we do is, you know, beginner level stuff. So any community members can take it.
Well, congratulations. I know you were just named like one of the best study abroad programs in the state, and I am so impressed with what you do. And
yeah, second in the country with sending students abroad. We were one a few years ago.
In the country.
Yeah, in the whole entire country. So
that's an amazing, amazing credit to you.
Yeah,
so
and
congratulations.
And the community as well for you know, getting outside their comfort zone.
Let's have you back, and we'll talk about another.
Anytime you want.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on. Good to see you.
Good to have you.
For more information on COD's Field Studies program, call 630-942-2356. And if you liked hearing about all of Gib's experiences in the Grand Canyon, be sure to join us at the MAC on April 6th for National Geographic Live, Between River and the Rim, Hiking the Grand Canyon. $5 tickets are available for students to all National Geographic Live events. For more information, visit atthemac.org. Come to the MAC to see 4-time Grammy winner and Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame member Rosanne Cash at 7:30 p.m. Then join us for the next installment of National Geographic Live, Stranger in a Strange Land, with National Geographic photojournalist Jody Cobb on Wednesday, April 25th at 2 and 7:30 p.m. Don't miss the return of Kathleen Madigan in her new show, Boxed Wine and Bigfoot. She will be back at the MAC on Friday, April 27th at 7:30 p.m.
Ma'am, I can tell by the way you talk you're a Yankee. I'm like, sir, I'm from Missouri. And let me tell you this little piece of history. I don't even know if we were in the war. I think we were half and half and just beat the crap out of one another. We never even left our own property, sir. Fight local. That was our bumper sticker. Fight local.
Get your tickets for one or more of these great events at the Mackinac Art Center box office or online at themac.org or call 630-942-4000. Debbie Borge has been a longtime Buffalo Theater Ensemble subscriber and has supported the MAC for many years. She's joining us today to give us the patron's perspective on the MAC and share details about some of the events she has seen in past seasons. Thank you for joining us, Debbie.
Well, thank you for having me.
So, Debbie, I want to share with everybody, the reason you're here is we had a silent auction item at an event, Mojo and the Bayou Gypsies. We had a fundraiser, and you were on your way to see a show. You were going to see that show.
Yes.
And you were so kind as to bid on that item.
I did.
So thank you, and thank you for supporting the MAC. And we're happy to have a patron of the MAC here today to tell us why do you support the MAC?
You know, it's been such a part of our lives. We've lived here in this area for 31 years, and we've been coming to the MAC for over 25.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. And how long have you been I know you're a big BTE fan. How long have you been a subscriber?
I think it might be 27 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the first thing that we did with the MAC.
Do you remember the show you saw?
I do. I do. It was House of Blue Leaves, and Kurt Nabig, who is still here, was a cast member. He played a teenager who was in the Army, and I think a little off-center. Anyway, he did it so convincingly. I still remember.
Wow.
That. And
do you remember this? Because this is the program from that show we found in the archives.
Oh, yes, my.
You told one of the producers that you saw the show, and she went and found that program in our archives.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
So what was the day? Oh, 93.
Since 1993. Well, tell me, so what do you do? What are your interests?
Well, I'm retired now, and I do a lot of volunteer work with children.
Nice. And what do you feel, what brings you to the arts? What does the arts do for you?
Oh, I love the stories that they tell. Sometimes it just takes you away from the everyday.
It does.
Gives you a lot to think about. And there's such a wide selection of things here. So I've brought my grandchildren to things, come with friends.
You know, it's interesting because you can watch now anything you want almost on TV at home or on demand. But to me, there's nothing like sitting in a theater with other people in your community, or you meet somebody new while you sit down and you chit-chat. There's just something about it to me that kind of feeds my soul.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I can't tell you the last time I saw a movie in a theater, but to have the opportunity to experience live theater is just so special.
And we're lucky that we have all of this in our community. You know, we have BTE, we have the student shows, we have movies, we have films from London that you can see broadcast here. And I think as a community, I think I'm so lucky to get to do what I do for our community, and with a community that embraces it.
Yes.
You know? And I think it offers our community more, it makes it more livable and more
definitely,
fun.
Definitely.
You know?
And there's such a diverse choice of things, lectures and, like you said, film and play and children's productions. And
what else what other things do you frequent at the MAC besides BTE?
We've been to a number of shows in the main theater. I'm not sure between the remodel, but we enjoyed Robert Cray. We were here for the opening.
Oh, nice.
When they opened the main theater.
And you come to some of the summer shows, I think, as well,
Yes.
right? Or outside lakeside
Yes,
shows?
we did. Not last summer, but the summer before. I was here with my brother and his wife, and my sister and her husband, and my husband, and we saw Buckwheat Zydeco.
Oh,
And
our
that's-
jazz series.
That's what
outside.
led us to see Mr. Mojo.
Oh, nice. See how one thing leads to it keeps
Yeah.
opening a door, right? You see
Yes.
one artist and you're like, well, now I think I might be interested in that.
Mm-hmm.
It is interesting how it expands your taste.
Oh, definitely.
You know, when I first started, I wasn't a big classical music person. And then I saw New Phil and I'm like, oh, well, that's fun. That's good. I know those tunes. And then you get a little more brave and you go to a more, that was a pop show that I saw. And then you start to appreciate. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yes. Saw Los Lobos
Oh, yeah.
here with
Ballet Folklorico.
Yes, yes, and that would not have put the two together, but it was wonderful.
It wasn't that wild how those two forms met,
Yes.
and then it made total sense when you saw them all together.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Well, thank you for what you do, because I always say we could not do what we do if there's no one in the audience, right?
This is true.
We need the audience. It's all about you. So thank you for your support and your friendship of the MAC and your support of BTE. And I hope you love the new show. I know you're going to see it real soon.
I am, yes.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. If you're interested in becoming a subscriber and supporting the MAC like Debbie, please visit atthemac.org for more information. The new Philharmonic Orchestra is back on April 7th and 8th with pianist Wael Farouk. Don't miss this one-of-a-kind opportunity to see all 5 of Beethoven's piano concertos performed in one sitting. Come see students from the college dance program in their spring showcase on Friday, April 20th. Original student choreography, solo dances, and classwork will be featured. The annual Juried Student Art Exhibit will be on display in the Cleve Carney Art Gallery from April 19th through May 19th. The show will highlight the range of media being taught in the fine arts programs at the College of DuPage. For tickets or more information, visit atthemac.org. I'm so pleased to welcome Connie Canaday Howard back to the show, who you know very well as the head of the theater department at the College of DuPage, hot off directing a successful run of Time Stands Still with Buffalo Theater Ensemble. Connie's next project is directing The Diary of Anne Frank for the College Theater. Welcome, Connie.
Hi.
Well, so I loved that book when I was young. I remember reading it in, I think, grade school. Did you read the book?
I did.
So there's something about that book that stays with you, I think, as a child, as an adult. But as you're directing it now, you know, our perspective changes. What's striking you now as you're working on this piece?
A couple of things. I think, you know, what people who don't know the piece, and it's surprising how many people don't know it or know about it but don't really know it, is that part of it is a coming of age story. It's about growing up. It's just growing up in very extreme circumstances. So it's dealing with familial issues and friend issues and you know, budding romance issues. So it's that. In fact, part of the story is sort of this budding romance, young romance in a really improbable situation. But what hits me the most is that particularly with the rewrites that happened in the what's called the new version, but it's been around for 20 years. Kesselman's adaptation is that it's really a glimpse into the determination and courage and human spirit that were present in these individuals, and a glimpse into the horror of the Holocaust from a really personal view. So those are the things that strike me most. I think actually some of that is because in the rewrite, there was 30% added to what I read when I was a child. There's 30% new material that came from the diary that her dad, Otto, deleted before it was published the first time, because it was, you know, questioning her mother, and it was about some of the fear that she felt. And so it was republished, and I think it's even more moving than the one that I read when I was in grade school.
I saw the new version, and I found it more suspenseful, too. I think that the new version creates the danger factor a little bit better, that you realize what's at stake.
I agree.
And that I found to be really powerful in the show, because you're moving along and you're seeing this relationship and you hear those knocks and your stomach just freezes. You're like, oh my gosh.
Right.
One thing I think is interesting about this piece is the courage of the family who hides them.
Yes.
Who we don't really see.
Kraler and Meep, they're really important characters, and are historical figures. So he actually went to a concentration camp as well. She wasn't at work when they were taken, so she was actually the person who found the diary and preserved it.
Oh, I did not know that.
Until Otto was released. But they are, what Mr. Frank calls them is that they are true friends. They're friends even in this world that we know. They're true friends. And that's what you see again and again in their little glimpses, because they couldn't have survived without them.
No.
They kept them alive. So,
It's a timely piece right now. There's 2 Oscar nominees about, World War II. And I think World War II is always timely. It's always important. It's always right. What do you hope to have your audience walk away with when they see this show?
I think I imagine that in 2 weeks' time I might come up with something else.
That's okay. You can.
As we morph in rehearsal, but I think what hits me the most is that, and it hits me often when I'm looking at pieces, contemporary pieces, is about the need to stand up for what's right, even when you're the minority or the sole voice. That without that, the world is unbalanced. There's no one questioning what is clearly not right. Not humane, not that there are bigger,
not logical. There's
correct.
Just no right, and the demonization was just and everybody's afraid, right?
Right.
And so, how important and how quickly those things can escalate. And I think it's just such a important message.
I think I think there are metaphors to today. I was talking this morning with somebody, one of my students actually, who was in a conversation last night on Facebook that I was not a part of. I mean, I'm not friends on Facebook, but it had escalated very quickly. And she was talking to me just because she wanted a mentor, But I think so many people who were found in hiding were not discovered by the Nazis. They were turned in by neighbors who had been friends. So, and part of that is survival too. And that's part of the question, how were they really found? That's a question that remains today. There are strong theories, but we don't know for sure
how they were found.
Because it was almost a full 2 years. And the tide had already started to turn. If they'd made it just a few more months, it might have been a completely different ending to the story.
There's something about this story, though, that it seems like everybody's read it. Everybody loves this story. I'm glad you're doing this because it is powerful, and it is something that relates to so many people. I think we've had to add extra shows, right, for school groups who want to hear this story. It's one of those stories that you can never see it enough.
Right.
How many students will be performing this show?
Oh, I didn't count.
I'm sorry.
12.
12 in the show? Awesome. And are you excited about the cast?
Yes. It's some people I've worked with before on completely different projects, and other people it's their first show. So it's fun.
What a great show to get to put on your resume as a student. I mean, it's just awesome. Well, I can't wait to see it. So we will all be rooting you on.
Thank you.
And wishing you the best in your opening, and get your tickets, right?
Yes, 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 yes.
All right. The Diary of Anne Frank will run April 5th through April 15th in the Playhouse Theatre. For tickets or more information, call 630-942-4000 or visit atthemac.org. That's all the time we have for today, but be sure to tune in next month for even more behind-the-scenes interviews. I'm Diana Martinez. Thanks for watching. We look forward to seeing you at the theater and next time on Backstage Buzz.
My name is Azim Anjum. I work at Sargent & Lundy. They are a power plant design firm. I am a mechanical engineer. In high school, just like everybody else, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I took some physics classes, and I really enjoyed them. And then engineering is the application of physics, and COD was a good way to test that. I was able to basically see if that was a good path for me without, taking a major risk. The engineering department at College of DuPage had teachers that gave students individual attention, actually made sure that the students learned the content rather than the large lecture halls. If I did not go to College of DuPage, I would be a little behind. They gave me opportunities to pursue internships, and it's because of these opportunities that I'm at the position I am today.